Ladies and gents, welcome back. It would seem that interference from the Chinese Communist Party is not just left to one side of the aisle here in Canada. This story is breaking from Ottawa. Here, Andy Lee reporting on Twitter saying, paid protesters begin to arrive on Parliament Hill to demonstrate against modern forms of the Chinese Exclusion Act. We also known as the Foreign Agent Registry. They're bussed in to Ottawa by Senator O to demonstrate. Senator O, conservative senator in Parliament here in Canada. Now, what's being told is for a new form of the Chinese Exclusion Act is actually the Foreign Registry that's been pushed forward by the Conservative Party of Canada in light of the allegations of Chinese interference in our past two elections, and as well as just in general in government in Canada. And well, a lot of this has been coming to light recently, but it's still being shrouded in secrecy. And this is the whole point of this registry. Now, it's being compared to the Chinese Exclusion Act, which was an act that was brought about 100 years ago to stop Chinese from immigrating into Canada. Now, that's not being stopped at all. And in fact, Chinese are being encouraged to immigrate to Canada. That's not changing anytime soon. More paid demonstrators arrive on the Hill. Participants were told on WeChat to remember not to wave the CCP flag. That's the Chinese Communist Party flag, and not to chant red slogans in support of the CCP. Why would they have to tell them that? Would that not just be a given, or are they actually catering to people who are in support of the Chinese Communist Party? Senator O recently said he would be starting a fund to sue reporters that report on this situation, calling it slander. Now, this comes from a Substack found in translation. Senator Victor O establishing a foundation to raise funds to sue Canadian politicians and reporters who smear Chinese people. Now, I'm going to have to say a caveat in this whole thing. I'm not smearing Chinese people. I'm not saying anything about Chinese people in general. This is about individuals from the Chinese Communist Party that are trying to infiltrate and influence our government and how it's going forward in this. Now, that would be interesting that he would be putting this forward to go after people that might be saying such things. Canadian Senator Victor O is planning to set up a foundation to raise money for legal actions against Canadian politicians and reporters who engage in what he perceives as a smearing Chinese people. According to a video clip posted on WeChat channel of North American Literature and Art Association, a Chinese community organization based in Canada. Now, Senator Victor O is from Mississauga, Ontario. He was born in Singapore, immigrated in 1978 to Canada, and later became a senator for the Conservative Party here in Canada. The article goes on. Senator O disclosed his plan to sue fellow Canadians at an event urging people to oppose Canada's Foreign Agent Registry. Now, that's an interesting thing because there are no other countries in the modern civilized world that don't have a registry for lobbyists and groups and people of foreign origin that are trying or attempting to lobby the government for particular purposes of from their origin countries. This is just a normal thing in all Western democracies, but somehow this is a bad thing in Canada. And well, I guess you can kind of see where I'm spelling this out. Senator O revealed his plan on June 4th, 2023, to a group of approximately 50 Chinese Canadians at an event organized by the Montreal Chinese Community United Center. And then there's the acronym there, and however you read that in Chinese. The purpose of the gathering was to discuss the logistical preparations for an upcoming rally in Ottawa on June 24th to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Canada's historical Chinese Exclusion Act, as well as protest against the Foreign Agent Registry in Canada. More comprehensive report regarding the June 24th rally will be provided in the next post. of this Substack. After the discussion about transportation arrangements, Senator O talked about his plan for the next step. He said, "There is another important thing after this event concludes perfectly, I hope in my mind, to establish a nationwide Chinese foundation. We will draft how to set up a nationwide foundation. Why should we set up a foundation? We must have an organization to receive donations. We need the energy and the financial resources because, as you know, those journalists, those newspapers keep suppressing us wave after wave. They intentionally smear you by only reporting on a small fraction of the facts, right? Well, I'm reporting now on these facts. Mr. O. Senator O told his Montreal audience that Canada's proposed foreign agent registry was a disguised Chinese exclusion act, despite the fact that the purpose of the foreign agent registry is to combat foreign interference. Senator Yuang Pao Wu holds a similar opinion as Senator O, consistently claiming a foreign agent registry would lead to a modern form of the Chinese Exclusion Act. Reporters suggest that both Senator O and Senator Wu have echoed Beijing's talking points on various occasions and have had frequent meetings with Chinese government officials. Additionally, both senators have been observed advocating for Chinese global interests with the Canadian Parliament, including opposing a Canadian Senate motion to denounce China's aggressive move on the South China Sea. Now, I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can check out this article. But yeah, it's been famous here that Pierre Poilievre has been opposed to what's happening with what he calls Beijing foreign interference, Chinese Communist Party interference, a foreign influence registry to bring home control of our democracy is what's being proposed here. Now, a lot of this has been coming to light because of recent leaks from CSIS, and well, the push forward to get more information is happening now, and more comes out every day. But it seems to be all held in secrecy, this veil of secrecy. A concerned Canadian putting out this video here. This validates that Trudeau knew about Chinese election interference and about 11 MPs receiving funding, and of which we don't know who these 11 MPs are, and perhaps maybe there are some in the Senate as well. Trudeau misleads us, manipulating the narrative and possibly overtly and covertly lied to us. What are the consequences? And here's a clip from this video here.
Our special report contained among other things, that, quote, a large clandestine transfer of funds earmarked for the federal election from the PRC consulate in Toronto was transferred to an elected provincial government official via a staff member of a 2019 federal candidate. That, quote, we assess that Canada remains highly vulnerable to Chinese foreign interference efforts. We base this judgment on intelligence that highlights deep and persistent Chinese Communist Party interference attempts over more than a decade, and that the group allegedly involved at least 11 candidates and 13 or more aides. In short, Mr. Morrison, you have conceded what the Prime Minister and this government have repeatedly denied and attempted to cover up.
So the report, which was originally published by Global News, Liberals ignore CSIS warning on 2019 candidate accused in Chinese interference probes. This story has been growing and turning into so much more. While the Liberals are dragging their feet because they don't want anyone to know about what went down and who knew about everything. Pierre Poilievre pointing out that, well, the Prime Minister's office knew. How is it that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau did not know about this?
Because this problem lies with the Prime Minister cabinet. What makes you think it's not CSIS perhaps didn't have the right protocol, or they didn't see fit to inform Mr. Chong himself?
Has the Prime Minister said that CSIS withheld this information from him? Because you want to know what proof? Justin Trudeau's own Chief of Staff said nothing is withheld from the Prime Minister, and that he reads everything he gets. So based on her testimony at a parliamentary committee, we should believe that CSIS would have brought this to the Prime Minister's attention. I can't fathom the thought that an intelligence agency would know of a threat against an MP's family because of a vote conducted in the House of Commons and wouldn't tell the Prime Minister that. If that's the case, then he's not actually running the government. He's just a figurehead, and he's not doing his job.
And that's the question. Who's actually running the government here? CBC running an article. The source behind foreign interference leaks will be found and punished, PM security advisor says. Now, this is... we're talking about heroes here in government coming out despite them trying to bury this fact. Now they're trying to go after and take out these individuals who, in my opinion, are patriots and are very, very much in line with the Canadian public in finding out what has been going on behind the scenes in this corruption and interference that we've been seeing from the Chinese Communist Party. Now, more from Pierre Poilievre, just beating the drum that we need to get to the bottom of this. Pierre Poilievre continues to push for a public inquiry into Chinese interference.
I think Justin Trudeau has inspired a lot of suspicion by his refusal to, one, answer questions about his knowledge of Beijing's interference to help him in two successive elections. Leaked CSIS and PCO documents now show that Beijing worked to help elect Justin Trudeau. That is an accepted fact. He doesn't even deny it. But he kept it hidden until courageous whistleblowers at CSIS released it for him. And now he refuses a public inquiry. I think Canadians of all political backgrounds are asking, what has Justin Trudeau got to hide? And furthermore, why hasn't he protected Chinese Canadians? Here in British Columbia, we know that Chinese Canadians came under intimidation by the People's Republic of China government. They were threatened. There were times when conservative candidates would knock on a door and the person answering would say, can we go into the backyard and leave our phones behind so that we can talk without being surveilled by the regime in Beijing?
This is Canada we're talking about. This is Canada where we're talking about actual surveillance by the Chinese Communist Party on people, Canadian citizens, in this country. And we're also talking about influence here of protesters being staged, gathered, brought in to fight against what? Fight against the idea of having a national foreign registry for diplomats and for agents of foreign governments coming here for the purpose of influencing our government. Well, that's where I'm going to leave it here today. And well, I'm just going to ask the question, what do you think of this whole scenario? Is this, I mean, just keeps getting crazier and crazier with this whole scenario with the government being infiltrated by the Chinese Communist Party. Do you think we'll ever get to the bottom of it? Do you think Pierre, when or if elected, will actually do something about it? Anyway, leave your comments in the comment section down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.